Say wake up, I am not talking about opening your eyes in the morning. I am talking about awakening to the vast potential that lies dormant within you. I am talking about shaking off the slumber of mediocrity and rising to the greatness you were born to achieve. Many of us are sleepwalking through life. We are going through the motions day in and day out without ever truly living. We will settle into routines that feel safe but leave us unfulfilled. We will accept the limitations that were never ours to begin with. We will allow our dreams to fade into distant memories, replacing them with the mundane tasks of everyday survival. But that's not why you are here on this earth. You weren't born to simply exist. You were born to thrive, to make an impact, to leave a mark on this world that cannot be erased. The life you are living right now is just a fraction of what you are truly capable of achieving. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you felt truly alive? When was the last time you were so excited about your life that you couldn't wait to start your day? If you can't remember, or if it's been too long, then it's time for a change. It's time to wake up. Waking up is about becoming fully conscious of who you are, what you are capable of, and the incredible potential that lies within you. It's about refusing to sleepwalk through life any longer. It's about taking control of your destiny and charting a course towards the life you truly desire. A story about a man named Weston. Weston was a successful accountant. From the outside, he had it all. A high-paying job, a nice house, a fancy car. But inside, Weston felt empty. He'd wake up each morning with a sense of dread, dragging himself to a job he hated, counting down the hours until he could go home and escape into mindless entertainment. One day, while sorting through some old boxes, Weston came across a journal from his college days. As he flipped through the pages, he was struck by the passion and enthusiasm of his younger self. He read about dreams of traveling the world, of starting a business that would make a difference in people's lives, of living each day to its fullest. In that moment, Weston realized he had been asleep. He had allowed societal expectations and fear of the unknown to lull him into a life that looked good both here, but left him feeling hollow inside. Right then and there, Weston made a decision. He decided to wake up and rebuild his life. It wasn't easy. Weston had to confront years of conditioning and face his deepest fears. He had to let go of the security of his well-paying job and the approval of others. But step by step, he began to reclaim his passion for life. He started by taking small risks, signing up for a photography class, something he'd always wanted to try. He began volunteering at a local community center, rediscovering his passion for helping others. He started saving money and planning for the travels he'd always dreamed of. Today, Weston runs a successful social enterprise that combines his skills in finance with his passion for making a difference. He's traveled to over 30 countries, not as a tourist, but as a social entrepreneur, helping local communities develop sustainable business models. Most importantly, Weston wakes up each morning excited about the day ahead, living a life that aligns with his true purpose. Weston's story illustrates a fundamental truth. You are not your circumstances. Your current situation does not define you. It's merely a starting point. Just as Weston was able to transform his life from one of quiet desperation to one of passion and purpose, so can you. Waking up can be uncomfortable. It means facing truths about yourself and your life that you might have been avoiding. It means taking responsibility for where you are right now and where you want to go. It means stepping out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. Many people, when faced with this discomfort, choose to hit the snooze button. They tell themselves, maybe tomorrow, maybe when I have more money, maybe when the kids are older, maybe when the time is right. But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. The right time is now. Discomfort is the price of growth. It's the price of living a life of purpose and fulfillment. Embrace it. Welcome it. Because on the other side of that discomfort is the life you have always dreamed of. So how do we begin this process of waking up and rebuilding our lives? It starts with vision. Vision is not just about seeing. It's about seeing ahead. It's about creating a clear, compelling picture of your future that pulls you forward. Even when times get tough, close your eyes and picture yourself 5 years from now living your ideal life. What does it look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What kind of work are you doing? Who are you surrounded by? What impact are you making on the world? Make this vision as vivid and detailed as possible. Now open your eyes. That vision you just created, that's your blueprint. That's what you are working towards as you rebuild your life. But a blueprint alone is not enough. You need to take action. This is where many people falter. They have a vision, but they fail to translate that vision into consistent, purposeful action. Remember, a dream without action is merely a wish. Action is what brings your dreams to life. What's one thing you can do today that aligns with your vision? Maybe it's updating your resume if you are seeking a new career. Perhaps it's going for a run if you want to improve your health. Or it could be having that difficult conversation you have been putting off. Whatever it is, do it today. Then do something else tomorrow and the day after that. Consistency is key. Small actions performed consistently over time lead to massive results. It's like compound interest for your life. Each action builds upon the last, creating momentum that propels you forward. As you begin to take action and make changes, you will inevitably face obstacles. Doubt will creep in. Fear will try to hold you back. People may question your decisions or try to discourage you. This is all part of the process, in fact. If you are not facing resistance, you are probably not pushing yourself hard enough. Remember, the path to rebuilding your life is not always smooth. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. But these obstacles are not stop signs. They are growth opportunities. They are chances for you to prove to yourself just how committed you are to your vision. When you face these obstacles, and you will, remember this, you are more capable than you realize. You have strengths and resources within you that you haven't even tapped into yet. The challenges you face are not meant to break you. They are meant to reveal your true strength. A time in your life when you overcame a significant challenge. Remember how it felt when you finally broke through. When you achieved what you once thought was impossible. That same strength, that same resilience is still within you. It's always been there, waiting for you to call upon it. It's crucial to understand the power of your environment. Your environment, the people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, the places you spend your time, has a profound impact on your growth and success. Take a moment to evaluate your current environment. Are you surrounded by people who support your growth, who challenge you to be better? Or are you surrounded by negativity and complacency? Are you feeding your mind with information that empowers you? Or are you consuming content that keeps you stuck? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose circle wisely. Seek out mentors and peers who inspire you, who push you to grow, who believe in your potential even when you doubt yourself. And it's not just about people. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the activities you engage in, all of these shape your mindset and influence your actions. Curate an environment that nurtures your growth and aligns with your vision. The power of continuous learning and personal development. The moment you stop growing is the moment you start dying in today's rapidly changing world. If you are not continuously learning and evolving, you are falling behind. Develop a hunger for knowledge. Read voraciously. Attend seminars and workshops. Seek out new experiences that challenge your perspectives and expand your horizons. Every piece of knowledge you gain, every skill you develop, is a building block in the new life you are creating. Don't just consume information passively. Apply what you learned with applications like having a library of books but never opening them. Take what you learn and implement it in your life. Experiment. Make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and keep moving forward. Your purpose is not something you create. It's something you uncover. It's already within you, waiting to be revealed. Your job is to peel back the layers of fear, doubt, and societal conditioning to reveal your authentic self. This process of self-discovery and rebuilding is not always easy. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself and your life. But I promise you, it's worth it. Because when you align your life with your true purpose, you tap into a wellspring of energy, creativity, and fulfillment that you never knew existed. Many of us are paralyzed by this fear. We are afraid to take risks, to step out of our comfort zones, because we are terrified of falling flat on our faces. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed numerous times on their journey. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They understood that failure is not a dead end. It's a detour. It's not a period, it's a comma. When you are rebuilding your life, you will fail, you will make mistakes, you will face setbacks. But these failures don't define you. What defines you is how you respond to failure. Do you let it crush your spirit and send you crawling back to your comfort zone? Or do you use it as a learning experience, a stepping stone to your next attempt? Embrace failure as a teacher. When you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow stronger, to become better? This shift in perspective transforms failure from something to be feared into a powerful tool for growth and self-improvement. The path to success is not a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, twists and turns. But with each failure, with each setback, you are gaining valuable experience and insight. You are becoming stronger, more resilient, more capable of achieving your dreams. Another critical aspect of waking up and rebuilding your life is understanding the power of your mindset. Your mindset, the way you think about yourself, your abilities, and the world around you, shapes your reality. It influences how you interpret it, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately, what you believe is possible for your life. There are two primary mindsets: a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe their qualities are carved in stone. They think intelligence, talent, and abilities are fixed traits that can't be significantly developed. This leads them to constantly try to prove themselves and avoid challenges that might expose their weaknesses. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. They see failures not as evidence of unintelligence, but as opportunities for growth. They embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and view effort as the path to mastery. Cultivating a growth mindset is crucial. It allows you to see possibilities where others see obstacles. It enables you to persevere when things get tough. It empowers you to take on challenges that push you beyond your current capabilities, knowing that through effort and learning you can grow and improve. So how do you develop a growth mindset? Start by becoming aware of your self-talk. When you face a challenge, do you tell yourself, I can't do this or I can't do this yet? That simple addition of yet can make a world of difference. It shifts your perspective from one of limitation to one of possibility. Challenge your fixed mindset voice. When you hear that voice telling you that you are not good enough, that you will never succeed, question it. Ask yourself if this is really true. What evidence do I have to support or refute this belief? Often you will find that your fixed mindset voice is based on fear and past conditioning, not on reality. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of avoiding difficult tasks, seek them out. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your belief in your ability to learn and grow. Celebrate your efforts, not just your achievements. Remember, it's the process of striving and learning that leads to growth, not just the end result. Learn from criticism and setbacks. Instead of getting defensive or discouraged, try to find the lesson in every failure or piece of feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to improve? This approach turns every experience, positive or negative, into an opportunity for growth. As you work on developing a growth mindset, you will find that your potential seems to expand. Things that once seemed impossible start to feel achievable. You will be more willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, because you know that even if you fail, you will learn and grow from the experience. Many people go through life without a clear sense of purpose. They work jobs they don't enjoy, pursue goals that don't fulfill them, and wonder why they feel empty and dissatisfied. Your purpose is your reason for being. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning, excited to start your day. It's what gives meaning to your actions and direction to your life. When you are living in alignment with your purpose, work does not feel like work. Challenges become opportunities. Life takes on a new vibrancy and depth. But how do you discover your purpose? It starts with self-reflection. Ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What activities make you lose track of time? What issues in the world make your heart ache? Make you want to take action? What unique talents and skills do you possess? Your purpose often lies at the intersection of your passions, your skills, and the needs of the world. It's where what you love to do meets what you are good at and what the world needs. Finding this sweet spot requires exploration, experimentation, and sometimes a willingness to let go of preconceived notions about what you should be doing with your life. Your purpose does not have to be grand or world-changing in the eyes of others. It just needs to be meaningful to you. Maybe your purpose is to create beautiful art that moves people's souls. Maybe it's to build a business that provides valuable services to your community. Maybe it's to be the best parent you can be, raising children who will make a positive impact on the world. Whatever your purpose is, once you discover it, it becomes a powerful force in rebuilding your life. It provides clarity in decision making, motivation during tough times, and a sense of fulfillment that no amount of money or status can match. You will likely find that your priorities shift. Things that once seemed important may lose their appeal. You may find yourself drawn to new opportunities, new circles of people, new ways of living. This is all part of the process of waking up and rebuilding your life. Our lives are essentially the sum of our habits. The person you are today is a result of your habits. The person you will be in the future will be shaped by the habits you form now. Habits are powerful because they operate on autopilot. Once a habit is formed, it requires little conscious effort to maintain. This can work for us or against us. Bad habits can keep us stuck in cycles of unproductive or self-destructive behavior. Good habits, on the other hand, can propel us forward, helping us make progress towards our goals even on days when we don't feel particularly motivated. As you work on rebuilding your life, pay close attention to your habits. What habits are holding you back? What habits do you need to develop to support your vision for your new life? Remember, it's often easier to replace a bad habit than to simply try to eliminate it. If you want to stop watching TV every evening, for example, replace that habit with reading, exercising, or working on a personal project. When forming new habits, start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Choose one habit to focus on at a time. Make it so easy that you can say no. Want to start a meditation practice? Begin with just 1 minute a day. Want to start writing? Commit to writing 1 sentence each day. These small commitments may seem insignificant, but they serve to establish the neural pathways that will make the habit stick. Over time, you can gradually increase the duration or intensity of the habit. Consistency is key when it comes to habit formation. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes every day than for an hour once a week. The goal is to make the habit a natural part of your daily routine, something you do without even thinking about it. Be patient with yourself. It takes time for habits to become ingrained. Don't get discouraged if you slip up occasionally. Instead, focus on getting back on track as quickly as possible. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Another crucial aspect of waking up and rebuilding your life is learning to manage your energy, not just your time. Many of us focus on time management, trying to squeeze as many activities as possible into each day. But energy is a finite resource. And if we don't manage it well, we end up exhausted and ineffective, no matter how well we manage our time. When are you most alert and focused? When do you tend to feel sluggish? Use this information to schedule your most important tasks during your peak energy periods. Reserve low energy periods for less demanding tasks or for rest and recovery. Speaking of rest and recovery, don't underestimate their importance in rebuilding your life. In our always-on hustle culture, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that more work equals more progress. But rest is not a luxury or a sign of weakness. It's a crucial component of high performance and personal growth. Make sure you are getting enough sleep each night. Incorporate breaks into your day to recharge your mental and emotional batteries. Practice mindfulness or meditation to give your mind a rest from the constant stream of thoughts and worries. Remember, you are aiming for sustainable progress, not burnout. As you work on rebuilding your life, pay attention to your physical health as well. Your body and mind are intimately connected. Neglecting your physical health will inevitably impact your mental and emotional well-being. And vice versa. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep are not just good for your body. They are essential for clarity of thought, emotional stability, and overall life satisfaction. Many of us, in our desire to please others or avoid conflict, end up saying yes things that don't align with our values or goals. We take on responsibilities that are not ours, engage in relationships that drain us, or allow others to infringe on our time and energy. Setting boundaries is about clearly defining what's acceptable to you and what's not. It's about learning to say no to things that don't serve your highest good, even if it means disappointing others in the short term. Remember, every time you say yes to something that does not align with your values or goals, you are saying no to something that does. Learning to set and maintain healthy boundaries can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you are not used to it. You might worry about seeming selfish or hurting others' feelings. But remember, clear boundaries are a sign of self-respect and actually lead to healthier, more authentic relationships in the long run. As you rebuild your life, also consider the role of forgiveness, both forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Holding on to past hurts and resentments is like carrying a heavy weight that slows you down on your journey. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions or allowing them to continue. It means releasing the emotional burden so you can move forward unburdened. Self-forgiveness is equally important. Many of us are our own harshest critics, holding on to guilt and shame for past mistakes or perceived failures. But beating yourself up over the past does not change it. It only robs you of energy and confidence in the present. Learn to treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding you would offer a good friend. Money is a tool that, when used wisely, can provide you with the freedom and resources to pursue your dreams and make a positive impact in the world. Yet many of us have unhealthy relationships with money based on fear, scarcity thinking, or a lack of financial education. Take the time to educate yourself about personal finance. Learn about budgeting, saving, investing, and building multiple streams of income. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Work on developing an abundance mindset when it comes to money. Believing that there are always opportunities to increase your wealth if you are willing to learn and take action. Remember, the goal isn't to accumulate wealth for its own sake, but to create financial freedom that allows you to live life on your own terms and contribute to causes you care about. I want to emphasize the importance of patience and persistence in this journey of waking up and rebuilding your life. Real, lasting change does not happen overnight. It's a process that unfolds over time, often with 2 steps forward and 1 step back. There will be days when you feel on top of the world, when everything seems to be falling into place. There will also be days when you question everything, when you are tempted to give up and go back to your old ways. Both of these experiences are normal parts of the journey. The key is to keep going, to stay committed to your vision even when you can't see immediate results. Trust in the process. Trust that every small action you take, every new habit you form, every challenge you overcome is bringing you closer to the life you envision. Remember why you started this journey in the first place. Remember the feeling of being asleep in your own life, of knowing deep down that you were capable of so much more. Let that memory fuel you when times get tough. And celebrate your progress along the way. Don't wait until you have achieved some big goal to feel proud of yourself. Acknowledge and appreciate every small win, every bit of growth, every moment of courage. These celebrations will provide the emotional fuel to keep you moving forward. The decision to wake up and rebuild your life is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Every morning when you open your eyes, you have a new opportunity to recommit to your vision, to take action towards your goals, to live with purpose and intention. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Don't wait until you have everything figured out. The perfect moment is now. You have everything you need within you to begin this journey of transformation. Remember, you have the power to rewrite your story, to create a life that fills you with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. But that power remains dormant until you choose to use it. So I challenge you today. Choose to wake up. Choose to stop sleepwalking through life. Choose to believe in your potential, in your dreams, in your ability to create the life you truly desire. It won't be easy. There will be challenges. There will be moments of doubt. There will be times when you want to give up and go back to sleep. But I promise you, the reward is worth it. The joy of living a life true to yourself, the fulfillment of pursuing your purpose, the pride of overcoming obstacles and achieving your dreams, these are priceless. You were born for greatness. You were born to make an impact. You were born to live a life of purpose and significance. It's time to claim that birthright. It's time to wake up and rebuild your life. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step today. Make the decision right now to wake up, to take control of your life, to start building the future you desire. Your new life is waiting for you. Your true potential is calling out to be realized. Your dreams are beckoning you forward. The world is waiting for the unique contribution that only you can make. The choice is yours. The time is now. Wake up and let the rebuilding begin. Your future self will thank you for the courage and commitment you show today. So go forth with confidence, with determination, and with the unwavering belief that you have the power to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. The journey starts now. Are you ready? Wake up and rebuild your extraordinary life. Friends, I want you to think about something for a moment. Every single one of us has a choice to make. Right here, right now. We can choose to grow, to push ourselves beyond our limits, to become more than we ever thought possible. Or we can choose to make excuses, to remain stagnant, to accept mediocrity as our destiny. Which path will you choose? Growth is not just about getting better. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. It's about fulfilling your purpose, realizing your potential, and leaving a lasting impact on this world. But here's the thing. Growth does not happen by accident. It's a deliberate choice, a conscious decision we must make every single day. There was once a young man named David who dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He had big ideas, grand visions of what he could achieve. But every time he tried to take a step forward, he found himself held back by fear, by self-doubt, by the voice in his head that told him he wasn't good enough. For years, David made excuses. I'm not ready yet, he'd say. The market is not right. I don't have enough experience. And with each excuse, his dreams slipped further and further away. He watched as others around him took risks, started businesses, and found success. All the while, he remained stuck, trapped by his own limitations. Then one day, David had an epiphany. He realized that his excuses were nothing more than a shield, a way to protect himself from the possibility of failure. But in protecting himself from failure, he was also shielding himself from success. In that moment, David made a choice. He decided to focus on growth, not excuses. From that day forward, David approached every challenge as an opportunity to learn and improve. When he encountered obstacles, instead of making excuses, he asked himself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better? He sought out mentors, read voraciously, and took calculated risks. And you know what? His business began to flourish. His success wasn't just about his business. As he focused on growth, he found himself becoming more confident, more resilient, more alive. He was no longer the person who shied away from challenges. He became someone who embraced them, who saw them as stepping stones to greatness. Growth is not always comfortable. In fact, it's often downright uncomfortable. It requires us to step out of our comfort zones, to face our fears, to confront our weaknesses head on. But it's in those moments of discomfort that we truly grow. When you go to the gym and lift weights, what happens? Your muscles tear. It's painful, but it's in the healing of those tears that your muscles grow stronger. The same principle applies to our personal and professional growth. The challenges we face, the obstacles we overcome, they are not holding us back. They are making us stronger, more capable, more resilient. We see these challenges, these moments of discomfort, and we retreat. We make excuses. It's too hard. We say, I am not cut out for this. Maybe next time in doing so. We rob ourselves of the very experiences that could transform us into the people we are meant to be. What excuses are you making right now? What dreams have you put on hold? Because you have convinced yourself you are not ready, not good enough, not deserving. I want you to take a moment and really think about that. Because those excuses, they are not protecting you, they are imprisoning you. Excuses are the nails used to build the house of failure. Every time you make an excuse, you are hammering another nail into the structure of your limitations. But here's the good news, you have the power to tear down that house. You have the ability to choose growth over excuses, progress over stagnation, success over mediocrity. Now, I am not saying it's going to be easy. Growth requires effort. It demands dedication. It calls for perseverance. But I promise you, it's worth it. Because on the other side of that effort, that dedication, that perseverance, is a version of yourself that you have only dreamed of becoming. There was a woman named Elena who had always dreamed of running a marathon. But for years, she told herself she couldn't do it. I am not a runner, she'd say. I don't have the time to train. I am too old to start now. Sound familiar? But one day, Elena decided to stop making excuses and start taking action. She began with small steps, literally. She started by walking around her block. Then she progressed to jogging short distances. Each day, she pushed herself a little further, a little harder. There were days when Elena wanted to quit. Days when her muscles ached, when her lungs burned, when her mind screamed at her to stop. But instead of giving in to those voices, instead of falling back on her old excuses, Elena chose to focus on growth. She reminded herself that each step, no matter how small, was bringing her closer to her goal. Months passed. And Elena's short jogs turned into long runs. Her stamina improved. Her confidence grew, and then one crisp autumn morning, Elena found herself at the starting line of her first marathon. As she looked around at the sea of runners, she realized something profound. The race wasn't just about crossing the finish line. It was about every step she had taken to get there. Every excuse she had overcome. Every moment she had chosen growth over comfort. Elena finished that marathon, but more importantly, she finished as a completely different person than the one who had started training months before. She was stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She had proven to herself that she was capable of far more than she had ever imagined. I want you to think about your own marathon. What's that big goal you have been putting off? What's that dream you have convinced yourself is out of reach? I am here to tell you that it's not. But achieving it starts with a choice, the choice to focus on growth, not excuses. When we make excuses, we give away our power. We become victims of our circumstances rather than masters of our destiny. But when we focus on growth, we take that power back. We become the architects of our own success, the creators of our own opportunities. Think about the most successful people you know. The ones who've achieved great things, who've made a real impact on the world. Do you think they got there by making excuses? Of course not. They got there by embracing growth, by seeing every challenge as an opportunity to learn and improve. Growth is not just about achieving external success. It's not just about making more money or getting a better job or running a marathon. Those things are great, don't get me wrong. But true growth, meaningful growth, goes much deeper than that. Real growth is about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about developing your character, expanding your mind, nurturing your spirit. It's about becoming more compassionate, more resilient, more authentic. It's about aligning your actions with your values and living a life of purpose and meaning. When you focus on this kind of growth, the external successes often follow naturally. Because when you become the best version of yourself, you naturally attract better opportunities. You make better decisions. You build stronger relationships. You create more value for others. But it all starts with a choice, the choice to stop making excuses and start embracing growth. The choice to step out of your comfort zone and into the realm of possibility. The choice to become the person you were always meant to be. I know what some of you might be thinking, but you don't understand my situation. I have real limitations, real obstacles. And I hear you, I truly do. We all face challenges. We all have circumstances that make growth difficult. But here's the truth, those challenges, those obstacles, they are not stop signs, they are guideposts. They are showing you exactly where you need to focus your growth efforts. Let me tell you about my friend Michael. Michael was born with a severe physical disability that limited his mobility. For years, he used his disability as an excuse. I can't pursue that career. Say, I can't travel the world. I can't live independently. And for a while those excuses defined his life. But then Michael had a realization. He saw that by focusing on what he couldn't do, he was missing out on the things he could do. So he made a decision. He decided to focus on growth, not limitations. He decided to see his disability not as a barrier, but as a unique perspective that could add value to the world. Michael starts small. He began by challenging himself to do one new thing each day, no matter how small. Some days it was as simple as preparing his own meal. Other days, it was reaching out to someone new and starting a conversation. But each of these small acts of growth began to add up. As Michael focused on growth, amazing things started to happen. He discovered talents he never knew he had. He developed a passion for writing and started a blog about living with a disability. His unique perspective resonated with people all over the world. Soon he was invited to speak at conferences, to consult with companies on accessibility issues, to write for major publications. But the most remarkable transformation wasn't in Michael's external circumstances. It was in Michael himself. He became more confident, more resilient, more joyful. He stopped seeing himself as a victim of his circumstances and started seeing himself as the author of his own story. Now Michael travels the world, sharing his message of growth and possibility. He lives independently, runs a successful business, and has a rich, fulfilling life, not in spite of his disability, but in many ways because of it. Because it taught him the power of focusing on growth, not excuses. I share Michael's story not to minimize the challenges you might be facing, but to show you that no matter what your circumstances, you have the power to choose growth. You have the ability to turn your obstacles into opportunities, your limitations into strengths. But it requires a fundamental shift in mindset, It requires you to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better? It requires you to see every challenge, every setback, every failure not as a reason to give up, but as a chance to grow. Growth is not always about overcoming your weaknesses. Sometimes it's about leveraging your strengths. It's about identifying what you are naturally good at and becoming even better at it. It's about finding your unique gifts and developing them to their fullest potential. If you plant a rose bush in the desert, it's going to struggle. No matter how much you water it, no matter how much you care for it, it's never going to thrive in that environment. But if you take that same rose bush and plant it in rich, fertile soil with plenty of sunlight and water, it will flourish. It will grow into a beautiful, vibrant plant that brings joy to everyone who sees it. The same principle applies to your personal growth. You need to find your fertile soil. You need to identify the areas where you have natural talent, natural passion, and focus your growth efforts there. Because when you align your growth with your innate strengths and passions, that's when you truly flourish. That's when you become unstoppable. Identifying your strengths, finding your passion is not always easy. It requires self-reflection. It requires honesty. It requires a willingness to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone, to risk failure in pursuit of growth. And that's where many of us falter. We are so afraid of failing, so afraid of looking foolish, that we never take the risk necessary for real growth. We stick to what we know, what feels safe, what's comfortable. And in doing so, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to discover our true potential. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of growth is preceded by countless failure setbacks and moments of doubt. The difference between those who achieve great things and those who don't is not the absence of failure. It's the response to failure. When you focus on growth, failure becomes your teacher, not your enemy. It becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. It becomes a necessary part of your journey, not a reason to quit. Think about a baby learning to walk. That baby is going to fall down hundreds of times before they take their first successful steps. But does the baby give up? Does the baby make excuses? Of course not. The baby keeps trying, keeps growing, keeps pushing forward. And eventually those wobbly first steps turn into confident strides. We need to approach our own growth with that same persistence, that same resilience. We need to be willing to fall down, to make mistakes, to look foolish in pursuit of our goals. Because it's in those moments of vulnerability, those moments of struggle, that we truly grow. When I talk about focusing on growth, I am not suggesting that you should be constantly striving, constantly pushing yourself to the point of burnout. Growth is not about running yourself into the ground. It's not about sacrificing your health, your relationships, your joy in pursuit of some arbitrary definition of success. True growth, meaningful growth, is sustainable. It's balanced and encompasses all aspects of your life. Your physical health, your mental well-being, your emotional resilience, your spiritual depth, your relationships, your career, your contribution to the world. Think of it like tending a garden. If you focus all your attention on one plant, watering it constantly, giving it all the sunlight, all the nutrients, what happens to the rest of the garden? It withers. The same is true in our lives. If we focus all our growth efforts on one area, say our careers, at the expense of everything else, we end up with an imbalanced, unfulfilling life. Real growth is about nurturing all aspects of who you are. It's about becoming a more well-rounded, more complete version of yourself. It's about growing not just in your skills and knowledge, but in your capacity for love, for empathy, for joy, for resilience. When you approach growth in this holistic way, each area of your life begins to support and enhance the others. As you become physically healthier, you have more energy for your work and your relationships. As you deepen your emotional intelligence, you become a better leader, a better partner, a better friend, as you can your mind through learning. You become more creative, more innovative in all areas of your life. But this kind of holistic growth requires intention. It requires you to be deliberate about how you spend your time, your energy, your focus. It requires you to regularly step back and assess your life, to ask yourself, am I growing in all the ways that matter? Am I becoming the person I want to be? And that brings me to a crucial point. Growth is not just about becoming better. It's about becoming more authentically yourself. It's about peeling away the layers of fear, of self-doubt, of societal expectations, to reveal the true essence of who you are. Each of us has a unique purpose, a unique contribution to make to this world. But too often, we let our fears, our insecurities, our excuses hold us back from fully embracing that purpose. We play small. We settle for less than we are capable of. We conform to others' expectations rather than having the courage to be truly, authentically ourselves. But when you focus on growth, something magical happens. You start to shed those limiting beliefs. You start to silence that inner critic that tells you you are not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. You start to recognize your inherent value, your inherent worth, not because of what you do or what you achieve, but simply because of who you are. And as you embrace your authentic self, as you align your actions with your values, as you step into your purpose, you naturally inspire others to do the same. Your growth becomes a catalyst for the growth of those around you. You create a ripple effect that can change your family, your community, even the world. This journey of growth, of becoming your best self, is not a destination. It's not something you achieve and then you are done. It's a lifelong process. It's a commitment you make to yourself every single day. There will be days when it feels easy, when you are firing on all cylinders, when you can feel yourself expanding and evolving. But there will also be days when it feels impossibly hard, days when you want to give up, when you are tempted to fall back on your old excuses. Growth is not always linear. It's not a steady upward climb. Sometimes growth looks like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Sometimes it looks like standing still, gathering your strength for the next push forward. And sometimes growth even looks like going backwards because you are reassessing, reevaluating, preparing for a big leap forward. The key is to keep your focus on growth, even when you can't see immediate results. To trust the process even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain, to keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. Every step you take towards growth, no matter how small, is creating your future. Every time you choose to learn instead of making excuses, every time you push yourself out of your comfort zone, every time you get back up after falling down, you are shaping the person you are becoming. And that person is capable of far more than you can imagine right now. That person has the power to transform not only their own life, but the lives of countless others. You see, when you commit to growth, you become a beacon of possibility. Your journey inspires others to embark on their own paths of self-improvement and personal development. The ripple effect of your growth, as you become more confident, more resilient, more authentic, you naturally uplift those around you. Your children see what's possible when someone refuses to be limited by their circumstances. Your colleagues are inspired by your dedication and innovative thinking. Your friends are motivated by your willingness to take risks and pursue your dreams. But it goes even deeper than that. When you focus on growth, you develop a unique perspective, one that allows you to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to find solutions where others are stuck on problems. This perspective makes you an invaluable asset in any situation, whether it's in your personal relationships, your career, or your community. Consider how your growth impacts your ability to lead as you develop greater self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and resilience. You become the kind of leader people naturally want to follow, not because of your title or position, but because of who you are as a person. You inspire trust, foster collaboration, and bring out the best in others. In your career, your commitment to growth sets you apart. In a world that's constantly changing, those who can adapt, learn, and evolve are the ones who thrive. By focusing on growth, you are not just keeping up with change, you are staying ahead of it. You are developing the skills and mindset needed to navigate uncertainty and seize new opportunities. But perhaps most importantly, your growth enables you to make a more significant impact on the world as you develop your talents, expand your knowledge, and deepen your understanding. You become better equipped to tackle the challenges facing our society. Whether it's through your work, your volunteer efforts, or simply the way you interact with others on a daily basis, your growth amplifies your ability to create positive change. What would our world look like if everyone committed to this kind of progress? If instead of making excuses, blaming others, or settling for mediocrity, every person chose to focus on becoming the best version of themselves? Can you picture it? The innovation, the compassion, the solutions to seemingly insurmountable problems that would emerge. That's the power of growth-focused thinking. It's not just about personal success or achievement. It's about creating a better world for all of us. This kind of growth does not happen in isolation. We need each other. We need community, support, accountability. We need to surround ourselves with others who are also committed to growth, who challenge us to be better, who pick us up when we fall. That's why it's so important to cultivate relationships with growth-minded individuals. Seek out mentors who can guide you on your journey. Connect with peers who are also striving to improve themselves. Be willing to be vulnerable, to share your struggles and your victories, to both give and receive support. And as you grow, make a commitment to lift others up along with you. Share what you have learned. Offer encouragement to those who are just starting their growth journeys. Be a mentor, a supporter, a cheerleader for others' growth. Remember, true growth is not about competing with others or trying to prove your worth. It's about becoming the fullest, most authentic expression of who you were created to be. It's about unlocking your unique potential and using it to make a positive difference in the world. I want you to pay attention to the small victories. Celebrate the daily choices you make to learn, to improve, to step out of your comfort zone. These seemingly insignificant moments are the building blocks of lasting change. Did you choose to read a book instead of watching TV? That's growth. Did you have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it? That's growth. Did you try a new approach to a problem instead of falling back on old habits? That's growth. By acknowledging and celebrating these small wins, you build momentum. You reinforce the neural pathways in your brain associated with growth and change. You create a positive feedback loop that makes further growth easier and more natural. But don't just celebrate your own growth. Celebrate the growth you see in others as well. When you notice someone making an effort to improve, to learn, to change, acknowledge it. Your recognition and encouragement could be the fuel they need to keep going when things get tough. For the next 30 days, I want you to make a conscious effort to choose growth over excuses in every situation you encounter. When you face a difficulty, instead of thinking, I can, ask yourself, how can I? When you are tempted to avoid a task or responsibility, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Keep a journal of your experiences. Write down the challenges you face, the growth choices you make, and the results you see. At the end of 30 days, take some time to reflect on your journey. I guarantee you will be amazed at how much you have grown, how much you have learned, how much you have accomplished. By the end of those 30 days, choosing growth will have become a habit. It will be your natural response to life's challenges and opportunities. You will have rewired your brain to see every experience as a chance to learn, to improve, to become more of who you are meant to be. I want you to remember this: you are capable of far more than you realize. Your potential for growth, for achievement, for making a positive impact on the world is limitless. But that potential can only be realized if you choose to focus on growth, not excuses. Every day you have a choice to make. Will you shrink back in fear, make excuses? and settle for less than you are capable of? Or will you step forward in courage, embrace the challenges, and commit to becoming the best version of yourself? The choice is yours, but I believe in you. I believe in your capacity for growth, for change, for greatness. And I believe that as you choose growth, as you unlock your full potential, you will not only transform your own life, but the lives of countless others. So go forth with courage and determination. Embrace the journey of growth with all its challenges and triumphs. Be patient with yourself, but never settle for less than you are capable of. Every time you choose growth over excuses, you are not just changing your life, you are changing the world. The future belongs to those who choose growth. Will you be one of them? Thank you. The sound of silence can be deafening. Sometimes, in that silence, you discover who you truly are. 3 days ago, I stood at my office window, watching a young eagle attempting its first flight. The mother eagle wasn't pushing, wasn't coaxing. She was simply watching from a distance. The young eagle stood at the edge of that nest, trembling, looking around desperately for help that wouldn't come. And in that moment, I saw you, I saw myself, I saw every human being who has ever stood at the edge of greatness, looking around for someone to hold their hand. That eagle stood there for hours. And do you know what fascinated me most? It wasn't the fear in its movements. It wasn't even the height of the nest. It was the absolute necessity of that moment of solitude. Some lessons can only be learned alone. Some strength can only be found in isolation. Some powers can only be discovered when there's no one else to rely on. We live in a world obsessed with collaboration, partnership, and teamwork. No man is an island. They say it takes a village. They insist. And while there's truth in these statements, there's also a dangerous lie hiding within them. The lie that you cannot, should not, must not do it alone. The most transformative moments of your life will happen in solitude. Your greatest breakthroughs will come when no one is watching. Your most profound revelations will strike when no one is there to validate them. Why do we fear being alone? Why does the thought of tackling a challenge by ourselves feel like punishment rather than opportunity? Because we've been conditioned to believe that solitude equals loneliness, that independence equals isolation, that doing it alone equals doing it wrong. But that young eagle, it wasn't abandoned. It was being empowered. The mother eagle understood something we've forgotten. Growth demands space. Power requires solitude. Greatness necessitates isolation. You're here today because something inside you recognizes this truth. Something in your spirit resonates with this message. You're here because you felt it. That calling to step away, to stand alone, to face your challenges without a committee, without a support group, without the constant validation of others. And yes, it's supposed to be hard. The resistance you feel, that's normal. The fear that grips you when you think about going it alone, that's natural. But natural doesn't mean necessary. Normal doesn't mean inevitable. Why the hardest paths are often meant to be walked alone. Why your greatest achievements will likely come from your most solitary moments. And why the very thing you're afraid of, doing it alone, might be exactly what you need to reach your highest potential. This isn't about isolation for isolation's sake. This is about understanding that your most significant transformation will happen in the moments when you stop looking for someone else to save you and start becoming your own solution. Let me share with you a story that will change forever how you view the power of standing alone. I met him on a crisp morning in Nepal, at the base of a mountain most people only dream of climbing. His name was Akash, and he sat alone at a small tea house. His weathered face telling stories was yet shared. What caught my attention wasn't his solitude. Many climbers sat alone that morning. It was the peace in his eyes. The kind of peace that comes from understanding something most of us spend our lives fighting against. They all think I'm crazy, he said, gesturing to a group of climbers huddled together, planning their ascent. 23 years I've been climbing this mountain. And 23 years they've told me I'm doing it wrong. He sipped his tea slowly, his eyes fixed on the peak that loomed above us. Akash was known in these parts as a solitary climber, while others formed teams, hired guides, and moved in groups. He climbed alone. Not because he couldn't afford help. He was actually quite successful in his business back in Kathmandu. Not because he was antisocial. The warmth in his conversation proved otherwise. He climbed alone because he understood something fundamental about human growth. The mountain, he said, shows you a different face when you're alone, when there's no one to impress, no one to blame, no one to rely on. That's when you see his true nature. That's when you see your true nature. I spent that entire morning with Akash, watching as groups of climbers began their ascent. They moved like centipedes, connected by ropes and shared fears. But Akash sat there, patient, waiting. When I asked what he was waiting for, his answer changed my life. I'm not waiting, he said, I'm listening. The mountain speaks to each climber differently. In a group, you hear only the group's interpretation. Alone, you hear your own truth. As the sun climbed higher, Akash shared the story of his first solo ascent. He had been part of a climbing team for years, successful by any standard. But something was missing. I was hiding, he admitted. Hiding behind the group's decisions, the guide's expertise, the shared responsibility. I was climbing mountains but not growing stronger. Then came the day when his entire team fell sick the night before a planned ascent. He stood at the base, just like that young eagle at the nest, facing a choice. The mountain beckoned. But every safety protocol, every piece of conventional wisdom said to wait, to never climb alone. In that moment, he said, I realized something profound. All my life, I have been using other people as shields against my own potential. Every time I faced a real challenge, I looked for someone to share it with, not because I needed them, but because I was afraid of discovering my own limits. Akash climbed the mountain that day. Alone, it took him twice as long as it would have with a team. He made mistakes. He had to turn back several times to find better routes. He faced his fears, his doubts, and his limitations all alone. That climb stripped away everything I thought I knew about myself, he continued. When you're on the mountain alone, there's no one to blame for wrong turns, no one to praise for good decisions, no one to share the burden of choice. It's all you. And that's when you discover that only is more than enough. As he prepared for his day's climb, Akash left me with words that have echoed in my mind ever since. The world will tell you that greatness comes from collaboration, that strength comes from numbers. And they're not wrong. There's a place for that. But they forget to tell you about the other truth, that your greatest self can only be discovered when there's no one else around to find it for you. I watched him begin his solitary ascent, his figure growing smaller against the vast white canvas of the mountain. No ropes connecting him to others, no shared equipment, no collective decision-making. Just one man, facing one mountain, discovering one truth. This wasn't just a story about climbing mountains. This was a story about life, about growth, about the journey we must all take to discover our true capabilities. And sometimes that journey must be taken alone. The truth about solitude is that it strips away our pretenses. When no one is watching, when no one is there to impress, we finally meet ourselves, raw, unfiltered, real. In your most isolated moments, who are you really? Not who you pretend to be on social media, not who your family expects you to be, not who your culture demands you become.